What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that I like to do a pretty wide range when it comes to the cost and type of items. So sometimes I'll do some high-end stuff. I just got done with a couple reviews. I'm looking around to see if I can find one of them, but anyhow, of knives from a company called Three Dog Knife, sent to me from Northern Knives up in Alaska, and they ran up to $400 for some of the knives, and then I'll do reviews on stuff that's at the lower end. What I have here today, two headlamps, the same thing. One is orange, one is green. They're from a company called Lamplight, and these are going to run you $9.95 a pop on Amazon. And so I just want to check them out and let you know, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to review one, and then I'm going to give one away. And yeah, I just want to let you know kind of about them. So maybe you're looking for something really budget friendly, you don't have a lot of money to spend, and these might be a helpful item for you. So let's zoom in here, check them out, and we'll test them out, and then we'll let you know if we think they're actually worthwhile. Sometimes, as you know, stuff that's low cost can also be junk, but sometimes at low cost can actually be a good deal. So let's check these out and see what category they fall into. What I'm going to do here is just push one of these out of the way, push this one over to the side, and we'll unbox this one. I want to show you right on the front here, it does say 85 lumens, shoots out to the distance, or lights up out to the distance of 262 feet or 80 meters. IPX4 rated, so it's good, not to be left underwater for a while, but certainly water resistant. Has an SOS option, a red LED, runs on 3 AAA batteries, and there's also a bonus item in here, so we'll see what that is. Let's pop this open. Packaging is fine. There's nothing to write home about. It's fine. It says tiny lamplight there on the band. So we'll take this out. Nothing else in there. And let's see. So you can see this is the attachment point you're gonna attach the strap to that. Let's see the best way to get this out here. So that's that. Oh, and there's your little bonus item, tiny lamplight keychain light. So I'm gonna take this out, and so there you go, little keychain light. Again, probably not gonna save the day, but you could certainly throw this on a keychain. And here's a look at the light. Now I don't know if this actually has any batteries in it, so let's open it up and see. It does. It does have this little separator in here, so that you don't actually, run the light when it was just in the shipment or being shipped out to you, basically. But I'm gonna line up the batteries properly. Close it up. Now, one thing you'll note here: no instructions on the inside. There's no little pack. On the side, it just says, ideal for hiking, camping, things like that. On the side here, it does say directions for use. So here's what it says. Open the battery cover, remove the insulation paper, which you just did. Press the battery into place. By pushing the button on the top of the lamp, you can switch between the 5 lighting modes. All right, so let's try that out. Let's get this out of the way here. So that's pressing on. Two red lights, flashing red lights, and then off. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I guess they're including off as the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try double tap. Nope. Maybe hold it on. Nope. So I guess they're including off. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. Now it says SOS feature here on this part of the box. By SOS, I think they mean the flashing feature. So I'm assuming that's your high output of 85 lumens. That's down to a lower output, just ballparking it, maybe half, maybe 40 lumens or give or take. There's your red light, so that's going to save your night vision, and then your flashing option. So let's see, that's what that looks like. So if you were biking, and it was nighttime, if you had another light, you could certainly spin this around on your head, have that facing backwards. You could certainly have it, on the back of your seat or something like that. You could rig it up to be doing that, and you just didn't let people know you're there. And then there's off. Does look like, yeah. So it's gonna click. It's got this plastic backing, plastic casing, and then if it's on your head and you want to point it down as opposed to straight out, a couple different settings. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 different settings, and then your 5th setting is the highest. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's your lowest setting. So that's what it looks like. Strap, pretty basic, nothing too fancy about that one. And so that's it. As far as what it looks like, let's try it on and see how it does lighting up the room here. You're looking at me here in the dark. Let me go through the different settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. Let me put it back on the first one and point it down here. Now you can actually see what my face looks like. So I'll get on the other side of the camera so you can see what it looks like. But let me one more time go through the settings for you. Looking off to the side, that's your highest setting. There's your lower setting. Again, I would say probably about half the amount of lumen, so probably 85 down to 40 or so. There's your red light setting to save night vision. There's your flashing setting, what they call SOS, but I would just call that flashing, and then off. Alright, let's give you a look at this so you can see what it looks like looking out from behind the camera. I'm behind the camera now and we're looking out. Let me put this on the highest setting, and so that's what it looks like. I'll just move this around the room a little bit. So my studio here that we're looking at, there's a bunch of gear over on the futon. You can see I've got the sloped roof. Side to side, the studio is about 15 feet across and then also about 15 feet deep. So just moving this around here so you can see. There's part of the lighting and stuff. And then over to this side, there's some more of the studio there. So I can definitely see, I mean, right now I'm shining it directly at that notch hat right there, and I could see the entire side of the room quite easily. So I could see all the way over to the end, another notch hat, and then all the way over to the corner where the guitar is. So that definitely going to light up the room, definitely going to give you a good amount of light to just kind of get around the house. Let's go down to the lower setting. You know, when I put it down to this, I feel like maybe it's closer to 50 or 55. It definitely is not a huge difference between that highest setting and the lowest setting. When I go to the red setting, you really can't see anything. There's my hand, you can see that, but you can't see anything pick up a whole lot on the camera. My eyes would have to adjust for a bit, but I do find the red a little bit dim, even as my eyes adjust here. It's a little bit dim. I wouldn't want to have to, you know, walk around out in the woods at night with this, I don't think, too much. You need just more power coming out of the actual light in order to see it. And then here's the flashing, and then we'll go to off again, and then on to the highest setting. So just looking around again, looking back over here at my couch. So, you know, if you got to get around the house while the power's out, this thing could certainly work. If maybe you got to, you know, work on your car, get into, you know, looking into the engine at night, something like that. Even just working around camp at night, I think this would work totally fine. I like that higher setting. And then the lower setting, I would like them to see it drop it down even lower. But most people want, you know, a higher lumen output in general is what they're looking for. Again, let me adjust this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the red setting. That'll save my night vision and let my eyes adjust for a couple minutes, and then we'll let you know what we think about it. Okay, so I let my eyes adjust for a while with that red setting, and with the red light setting, you know, for your night vision. And I would say, because I know my upstairs area here, I could see around and kind of be like, okay, I can get around. But if I wasn't familiar with the area, I probably wouldn't be as comfortable walking around. So I just think they need more output for that that setting with the red lighting. What would I say about these overall? $10, very inexpensive. So if you're looking for, you know, the ultimate headlamp to, you know, go hiking with, go biking at night with, whatever, this wouldn't be it. Could this be a good backup option? I think so. I think it could be. You know, the fact that it's IPX rated, the fact that it says good out to 80 meters. I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if it'll reach out that far maybe, but as far as giving you good light where you can say, oh, I can see out, you know, 262 feet, I think it's probably pressing that a little bit. Not totally sure that that's the case. But $10, you know, this could be something that you give it a shot, you test it out, and you're like, hey, you know, it functions well for one of those backup headlamps that I have at home. When I think about something like this, I think about putting this in a drawer, and so, you know, if the power goes out, I know, okay, in that drawer there's a lamp, you know, for the family in the family room, and I got a headlamp so I can get around and, you know, find some stuff without having to dig through a ton of gear. So for $10, yeah, I would definitely consider checking it out. The fact that it includes batteries, that's a bonus, so you're going to save a little bit of money there. Uses AAA's, so you don't have to go digging around for, you know, hard to find batteries. 18650s and CR123s, a little bit easier to find these days than they were in the past, but they're still a little bit more expensive. So if you got a bunch of AAA's kicking around, you could certainly use this headlamp. But since I do have a lot of flashlights and headlamps and stuff already, I'll be giving this one away. So maybe this would be a nice little prize for you, or maybe you got somebody who's getting into the outdoors or getting into gear and they want to test something out. This could be a good option for them. So once again, it's the Tiny Lamp multifunctional headlamp. Goes up to about 85 lumens, and decent little lamp. Yeah, so check it out. I'll be probably adding this into a kind of a prize pack for a giveaway. So not just this by itself, but a handful of things together. So I'm gonna keep this one, and we'll use it a little bit more, and then just see kind of what we think about it. So thanks as always for checking out our videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. Later.